Essendon starting with a loose man in defence, that being Mark Harvey, who returns to the side. One of the elder statesmen now of the Bombers.
Channel 7, footy's home ground, set to go. Most important game, this one, here at the MCG. Good bounce too. Everitt up very high and very early. O'Connor knocked it down. Burke dragged down. Denham quick hands away. There's that man, Michael Pryor, in trouble.
And strangely enough, Dennis Essendon started the centre bounce set up with just 3 men inside the square. So I just wonder whether or not that's a tactic that'll go on. Rob Harvey dragged Gary Moorcroft out of there.
Did that once or twice last season. Scramble. Everitt trying to work his way through. Denham again. The hand pass. Well done. Mercedes forward of the centre circle. Kicks inside the 50. Brilliant pickup. Berbatov. Going down there was Alessio. Coming through is Harvey. Feeds it wide. Knocking the ball along in front. St Kilda try and clear the zone. A couple of them. Brown the more recent there. Mercedes hit the pack hard. Still he goes. Hit hard by Harvey. Pulled back by Pryor inside the 50. Alessio, strong on the chest, has taken the mark about 45 metres out.
Yes, and he does loom as a major danger for the Saints. He's being picked up by Sierakowski, and he'd be giving him some 10 centimetres in height. And if they can get the ball down quickly enough to Steve Alessio, he may have a very big say in who wins this game.
Half chance there for the Saints to clear the zone. Firstly Campbell, and as I mentioned then Brown. They didn't, but only a behind. Kicked by Steve Alessio. Good to see the big man back.
Spent time out of the game as a result of suspension. A very important player for Essendon. Matthew Young now doing the kicking in for St Kilda, and short to Campbell. Back to Young, a little bit of run from defence. Clears well out towards the wing. Now Everitt's a target, met heavily by Simmons. Jones favours his left foot towards half forward. The contest there, over the back there. Harvey back for his first touch for the year. Cool in the crisis to Fletcher. Drives it on back. Wakeland coming in, O'Connor. Both boys take their eyes off the ball, allowing Young to clean up from behind. Opportunity to send out forward. Lowe does the spoiling on Pryor. Peckett missed it. Pryor wrapped up by Lowe to Burke. Steps on out. Brown settles on his left foot from 45 out. He's got it. Tony Brown. Great burst through the centre of the ground. Contest from Lowe gave Burke the opportunity to Brown, and the Saints are on the board.
And a pretty important goal for the Saints, because they'd be expecting that they're a chance today. And here's Lowe just doing what he does best, and that's competing at centre half forwards. The Saints are much better side with him playing across that line. Nice quick hands, and Brown ignoring the lead from Nicky Winmar, who started at full forward and going straight home. It was a pretty sharp goal at that.
Initially 3 in, then Doolan walked in for Essendon. They've got the 4 now, the full complement. So obviously a little unsettled. Thompson, was he pushed in the back? Could have been. Brown emerges with the football in any case. Kicks inside the 50. Big leap at the back there from Pryor. Socket off the deck by Simons out towards the boundary. And it runs across.
Winmar being picked up by Rick Olorenshaw, and I'm sure he would have expected to have that matchup on a wing. And Danny Morgan playing on Harvey.
Essendon with a marvellous record against St Kilda. Under Kevin Chitty, they've won 26 of the last 28. The ball is socket across the goal face and out of bounds, but as Jared pointed out in the opener, they've won 2 of the last 5. Essendon have won the last 3. Work all of that out and you're very good. So boundary throw in the pocket. There's Nicky Winmar. And Lowe and Fletcher. Lowe beaten by Fletcher. Behind the pack. Thompson goes in, working against Denham. St Kilda starting the season so badly, and of course coming off a disappointing season last year. Just spent 1 week in the top 8. It was after round 7. This to see if they're for real in the context of the finals this season. Hitting the ball hard, Joel Smith snaps and misses. Great opportunity goes begging for that class youngster.
Well, there is some class with him, isn't there? A real good user of the ball. In actual fact, he's kicked 11 goals, 3 behinds now for the season. So accuracy is his forte. Now this is Gary Moorcroft. Won the Morris medal back in '94, playing his first game this afternoon for Essendon. Does the kicking in. Brown does the roving to Smith. Back towards a vacant square. 3 Bombers back first. Ricky Ollerenshaw the one to take it. Just a 1 step over to Moorcroft. Introduced to the senior list this week. Off the rookie list at Essendon when David Grenvold stepped off the senior list, allowing the young player to come in. Kick, not a good one. The up and under one right to the boundary line, and Wakeland forces it over. Just the 1 Wakeland playing this afternoon. Stuart Lowe, Dustin Fletcher. Lowe takes the front position, down, Doolan's there, Burke's in where he belongs at the bottom. Jones a quick flick on out. Simons, couple of goes at it, keeps on coming on it. Andrew Thompson's young player in there with him. Number 29 there for St Kilda. Andrew Thompson made his debut in round 1.
Just a couple of matchups to indicate how short St Kilda are in defence. Berbakoff with Shanahan's pretty even. Lloyd's a lot taller than Hudson. Alessio now with Wakeland much taller there, and Lucas has got a couple of inches on Sierakowski.
So Robert Harvey gets away from his shadow, Danny Morgan, in towards Smith. Away he goes from 55. He's got the target there. Winmar a little bit too high. Simmons the first one back. Under pressure now. Winmar does the hassling. Pryor wrapped up by Peckett, over the line and out of bounds. Moorcroft coming in late. And I think the umpire could well read it that way. No, he's just settling things down. Nicky Winmar approaching 200 games of football. Today's 193. Harvey over the back, tries to take it. Thompson, inside out handball, finds Smith, has a gun to go at it. And for the second time today, one behind to Joel Smith.
And a couple of midfield matchups. We've got young Brown on Mercedes. Morgan's picking up Harvey, as we've already described, and Sean Denham, a very good negative player. Gets the ball himself, has got Nathan Burke.
Gary Moorcroft brings it in, waiting down in front. Nicely worked. The hand pass came from Morgan. Mercedes now Harvey towards half forward. Half volley, long. Feeds it across to Pryor. Pryor probing kick. Berbakoff works off his man and takes the mark 15 metres out.
And I think that's what Essendon will be striving to do this afternoon, and that is deliver the ball very long and very quickly into this forward line, because they have got such a height advantage that the only way that St Kilda are going to nullify this over a period of time is to get some extra support down and get players releasing from their own man to come over the top. Wasn't an opportunity in that on that occasion.
It's a goal. Peter Berbakoff.
Well, a pretty fair start now for both sides, and this once again just shows the value of clear kick-outs, all developed from a point from the Saints. And Michael Long getting into the play pretty early in the piece. He's being picked up by Campbell. So they've got a very talented forward line, the Bombers, and it's a matter for the Saints to stop the supply.
So a goal to Tony Brown for St Kilda and one to Peter Berbakoff for Essendon. A 1-point ball game. Just approaching the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. Brown, another possession to Zilla. He's got space out in the half forward as Thompson. He can go, decides to do that. Runs right onto 50, gone over the back to Hall. He's got it. Very good kick from Thompson. The vacant goal square and tossed it up high enough for Hall to have a go at. Barry Hall. He's kicked 4 for the year. Made his debut in the first half of last year's season. Pulled up by a broken toe in the second half, but no troubles with the toe now. He has a goal. St Kilda 2-2, Essendon 1-1.
Well, good delivery by the little men of the Saints. You see them all getting a piece here with Burke, Brown, in fact, getting it to Zilla, and young Thompson delivering the ball in long and quickly, and a nice leap and fly. Nice balance there from Barry Hall. It looks about 3 weeks post the clean shave.
And probably Thompson's kick didn't go where it was supposed to go, and the team's strategy, it went behind, but that favoured Hall. Everybody is drilled to push up. 2-2-1-1. There's the time remaining, opening term. St Kilda getting the better of it so far. O'Connor up very early, decisively, down to Masidi, kicks inside the 50, awkward bounce for Long down there. Campbell, still he goes, Campbell under pressure, gets it away, Wakeland feeds it back inside, and they work it away nicely. It was well played as the kick comes out to Burke. Hodgson found Burke, and now Burke goes to the wing. Slapped out of there by Stewie Lowe across the boundary line, so a throw in.
It's a fair welcome back to football, isn't it, for Mark Harvey, having Stuart Lowe charging you down first up.
Putting the size 15 boot right in the back.
Yes.
Can't sneak up on you, though. You'd hear him coming. Here's Harvey. Nicely done. This is Young off the wing and off his step. Kicks inside the 50. Clever mark to Hall. They kicked it to the corridor, and Hall was there. He kicks from 60 metres out. Going back, Fletcher. Uncontested. Fletcher, short. Olorenshaw in space. Can run away, some indecision. O'Connor eventually slips away from Everitt, too nimble there.
Alessio calling for the long ball over the top.
Olorenshaw runs on. Meantime, it goes in that direction. The one mentioned by Gerard, Alessio. Morgan. Olorenshaw now on the wing. Plenty of time to have a look downfield. Kicks a floater down towards half forward. Long is there. Well played by Campbell, just reaching over the top. Timely fist. Long wants a free. Certainly it wasn't there.
And an interesting kick from Olorenshaw as we have another look at Big Barry Hall's mark. He is a talent, and he's getting better as the season goes on. But the kick didn't really favour Michael Long. Should have perhaps been out in front for him to run onto it.
So from half forward for Essendon, Alessio flicks it over into the forward line. Campbell again, very stout in defence, matched up against Long. But Matthew Young, it's a shocker. Genuinely such a good user of the ball, Matthew Young. Michael Pryor drives it in, so he should. They have all the tall timber there. At the back, Hodgson couldn't get the handball away. Berbatov prepared to run it down.
James Hurd is coming on the ground. Obviously starting on the bench was a luxury for Sheedy, replacing Lucas, so he's running straight up to the forward line.
The master of the stage is Kevin Sheedy. And I'd suggest did that just for this crowd reaction. Have the ball now right in the forward pocket.
Scotty Lucas is the man that came off the ground. So David Sierakowski now has the opportunity to take full toll of the nightmares of last night.
So there we have them, Hurd, Sierakowski. Everitt, O'Connor out the back, Young. Long hustles the ball down. Kick off the ground, goes nowhere for the boundary line. The umpire right on the spot allows that one to go by. Sierakowski was the player, Michael Long the appealer. O'Connor should try to flick it over the back. Allows it to go to Alessio, does the roving, cross the shoulder, fades away too far to the left and just the one behind.
Steve Alessio. Well, of course, the last time these two sides played, the lights went out at Waverley, round 10 last season. They came back on Tuesday to finish the game, a place in history for these two clubs, the longest game in history. On the outer side, Jones, looping hand pass. Wakeland too long. Tackled by McCurry. It's holding the ball. He had prior opportunity. We should say it together like parrots. Here's McCurry on the outer side. The mercurial one. Nicely done. He's a quality player. Kicks inside the 50. Hurts the target. Fell over. Ball in front of the pack. Opportunity for Morgan going to the ground. Now Denham under pressure. Tackled by Burke. Still there, 55 metres out. Long slaps at Goldwood. Campbell in the congestion. Back to Hurd, 52 metres out. What a comeback this could be. It's floating. Did he touch it? Hodgson, I think. Fingertips to it. It's a point. But he still remembers where they are.
Oh, the place is just rocking. James Hurd's back in town. Matthew Young. Out it comes towards Darryl Wakeland. The rover is Peckett. Away he goes on the left. Everitt in the centre. Does play on. Simmons knocks it down. Peckett following up. Very good work on the left foot in towards Winmar. Ball bounces in front. Body work. Zilla does the shepherding on Elorenshaw. Winmar across the body, but not far enough. The one behind.
And Justin Peckett's had a new lease of life, being moved from the pressures of the back pocket, designated kicking role, up onto the wing. And over the last couple of weeks, he's played particularly well. And already today, he's had 2 kicks and 1 tackle. But he's on the wing on Michael Pryor, and a pretty tough job.
Dustin Fletcher comes in short. Simons to Harvey. First game for the season for Mark Harvey. He's overcome a back injury this year. And last year, after having last year's trouble with an ankle, in towards centre forward, Long looking to free himself. Can't, feeds in towards Lloyd. Shanahan went for the body when he should have gone the ball. Fortunately, his teammates are able to wrap Lloyd up. It's going to be stifled there. The ball wrapped in there. And a ball up just some 30 metres out from goal. Jamie Shanahan, just an error in judgment there. To bump the Essendon player coming through and really should have been able to go at the ball.
Michael Long a bit stiff not to be awarded the penalty for being grabbed.
Yep.
Connor, the big thump away. Harvey breaks out of defence, pushes on out wide to the new winger in Peckett. Wrapped up by Pryor. The umpire allows it to go. Pryor's the first one back up. Flicks it on out the second occasion to Masiti. Into the square, Doolan fumbles, gathers, tries to break through, hasn't got the support he wants. Towards Denham, Young again, a forward handball, Everitt to Jones. Again the handball, Smith, left foot. Winmar's the target. Is it going to reach him? No, Fletcher does the spoiling. Now it's with Winmar. He stands upright in the contest. There's a chance, Everitt in the square, misses him. Fletcher, Simmons, off the ground, Hall. Real opportunity here for the Saints. They can't get through the Essendon defence, and Harvey's the one to slip it away.
Not for long, one senses, although Hurd has other ideas. Brilliantly played. Body slammed. Alessio takes the Hurd hand pass and kicks up towards the wing, looking for Long. And it bounces across the boundary line. Well, a golden opportunity going begging for the Saints. Man on in the square, and Winmar couldn't get the ball to him.
We just saw James Hurd up on the half-back flank, and one suspects his versatility and his ability to play as a ruck rover may find out David Sierakowski.
Who does the rucking, knocks it down. Harvey, fine balance. Jones, slippery. Zilla, dashing, kicks inside the 50. Lowe's in front. Stewie Lowe is side up by 6 points. Everitt dashing towards full forward, should go to him now. He's 20 metres behind the defence. Kicks long, kicks wayward, it's a behind. Well, they murdered that opportunity.
Yeah, they're well on top at the moment, the Saints, and their lead could well be extended. The last 2 opportunities, that one from Stuart Lowe and a further one to Nicky Winmar only a minute or so ago, should have resulted in a goal.
Wellman kicks in. Thompson almost. Fletcher, nicely played. McCurry was taken high, I thought, and he'll get the free kick. Mark McCurry in doubt this week. Really got crunched by Trent Ormond-Allen at the start of the second quarter last week. Here's Burke across to Zilla, chips it out wide. Opportunity for Young, runs to the 50, heads for home. It's a long kick, low, about 3 metres out, couldn't hang on, and across the line for a behind.
Great defence there from Dustin Fletcher. Matthew Young for St Kilda. He's had some 8 disposals already, running off the half-back line. But Lowe, the target in the forward. Young has the job on McCurry, so certainly has the better of that duel. McCurry just the 3 kicks at this stage. So Fletcher has the big job on Stuart Lowe this afternoon. O'Connor from behind. Denham off the ground, buys his club another 30 metres to Long. The quick hands, Doolan steps back in. Tackle was great there from Thompson. Pressure now, Hudson for St Kilda, Lloyd for Essendon. On the right foot, drags it around, it will bounce once, twice. Was it touched? Yes, it was.
Sense of theatre.
Matthew Lloyd, described during the week by coach Kevin Sheedy as the next Chris Grant. And anyone who's watched Chris Grant this season, take that as a fair accolade for young Matthew Lloyd. now, kicking in from defence once again. Wide towards Jones. Slaps it down in front. Left foot, drags it round towards the wing. Everitt gathers it on the rebound. Good clean handball out to Zilla and on again to Thompson.
Thompson on the wing then. Kicking down towards the attacking 50, well inside. Winmar carried forward, no free. Burke the opportunity into an open goal, gets the Saints third. They're looking hungry, St Kilda, 3-5 to 1-4.
Yeah, they look pretty good, the Saints. Their midfield running is superb, and I thought it was evident there from the kick out from Young that they changed their side around, and they really are showing the benefits of having a fellow that is perhaps one of their best kicks in the side, maybe the second or third best kick in the team, kicking the ball out, got it to Jones, and they ended up with a goal.
3-5, 1-4, margin 13 points. Just over 6 minutes remaining till quarter time.
In the centre.
Peter Everitt there. Wins it down. Wide of the pack. Peckett standing well wide. Runs onto the crumbs and kicks inside the 50. Intended for Hall. Beleaguered defence at the moment, Essendon. Under a lot of pressure. Wellman kept it in. Ola Renshaw comes away. Denham been busy. Moorcroft left half back towards the wing. Mercury made to earn it. Has the ball. Plays on immediately. Shocking kick down towards half forward. Gathered by Lloyd. Back it comes to Denham. He's run from half back. Good hard running. It deserves a goal. He runs to 35 out, but a free kick is coming back on the Shepherd, applied by O'Connor.
Oh, that is a very high price to pay.
Yeah, well, Dennis, look, O'Connor came through and just lifted his arm. It was pretty harmless stuff, but from what the umpire saw, it was too high. So a big mistake for Essendon.
So Essendon with the chance now to rebound back. Peckett out wide. Everitt, he'll wheel around onto his left foot. Goes in short. Zilla, he could go. No, Pryor has him. Just checks him up. There was space if he had got past Pryor. Now decides to go long. He's gone right to the line. He's gone over the line. He's... Oh. Well, by definition, that is the last line of defence. Essendon standing firm right there at the moment. Stan Alves coaching his 74th game, looking for his 29th win. What a valuable one it would be. Coming off a very good win last week against Port Adelaide, where Alves was commended for his homework and his preparation. I'm sure he's equalled it this week.
Had a pretty tough week in the media too, Stanley, so he'd have lots of support here.
Robert Harvey back to Zilla again. He's coming out for his 5th kick. So Zilla's starting to do a little bit of damage in the latter part of this first quarter. Under 5 minutes of play left. Here on the home of football, Stephen Zilla, 40 metres out. It's another opportunity gone begging. 3 goals, 7 behinds to the Saints.
And that could well be 7-3, Terry. It's some of their missed opportunities haven't been all that difficult.
Moorcroft into the side today and given the task of kicking in. Big responsibility these days. Wide of the pack. Young to Burke. 52 metres out. Floats it down towards full forward. Moorcroft had to wait. Knocked it away. Denham. Ola Renshaw judged it perfectly. And it bounces out of bounds.
He what?
I thought it was terrific. Well, OK, got a bit lucky, but you're a killjoy. So boundary throw in. Fletcher and Lowe. Lowe, an almighty swipe, missed it. Morgan. Oh dear, Fletcher missed it. Thompson, Morgan butters up again and will have a ball up.
Dustin Fletcher lucky to have his head still on his shoulders, because the big wind up from Stewie Lowe missed by that much, Max.
There he is. Everything intact. Stewie winds up again, knocks it down. Simons had it, then lost it. Thompson pivots. Ola Renshaw hand passes about 15 metres in the wrong direction to give away a behind. So Essendon starting very slowly so far this season. That's been a feature of their game. averaging 19 points per first quarter, the worst in the league. The Western Bulldogs with 15. Collingwood, the pace setters, with 32, and St Kilda in the ruck with 24. Ball on the outer side. They've passed that, the Saints, already. Scramble and the ball up. Umpire Everitt not happy there.
And there has been a growing trend for sides to concede points or behinds, as we saw Rick Olorenshaw do, basically because they know that they can now control possession of the ball much better from them.
So you saw the time remaining, just over 3 minutes. Simmons from half back out to Berbikoff, back on the ground. He went off for a while to bring Hurd on. His kick up towards that player with Long, and the ball off Michael Long's hands and over the line, out of bounds. A little bit apologetic there, I think, to James Hurd was Michael Long. Hurd perhaps should have been the flyer and Long the rover. Then again, he was the man in front. Wakeland clears it out of the defensive area with assistance from Brown towards Jones, but it rebounds back into Doolan towards Hurd. We have Denham, feeds back inside. Morgan, 51 possessions in the reserves last week, and finds Lloyd. Lloyd plays on from outside the boundary line into Hurd. Somewhat of a magnet to the ball is James Hurd. Teammates will grow a couple of inches in stature when he's out there, I'm sure, and have the confidence to give it to him. Here he goes. James has kicked it. Goals for the season, and first for the afternoon to James Hurd.
And he did get away from his opponent David Sierakowski there on 2 occasions to pick up some possessions. Here you see him in play. No Sierakowski. Number 13 is what we're looking for. Hurd just getting the ball going forward, and he continues to run down. Now, an interesting kick, that one. It was a check side and it found its opponent.
James Hurd, sensational goal at long range, sharp angle. Get the feeling he will be one of the all-time greats. Everitt goes up, knocks it down. No understatement here. Mercedes kicks it out towards the wing. Here's Burke in trouble. Young, nicely done. Brown comes away with the ball. Brown through midfield. He started well, has drifted out of the game, finds Everitt. Everitt, so much potential. 55 metres out, unloads. Not a bad effort. Good looking kick. It's a beauty. Matches Hurd with that one. I think he's a terrific player, Peter Everitt. May you see why.
And he's been one of the real thorns for the Bombers in this first term, because he has been pushing forward. And we're seeing the value now for that decision. He's been doing it for a couple of weeks, and he really has blossomed as a player under that coaching directive from Stan Alves. He's doing it particularly well, coming out of the ruck, and then he heads off forward.
And St Kilda double Essendon score, both in goals and behinds. Young steps away again. Kick number 8, and it's a beauty towards Hall. Something to like about St Kilda's forward line just at the moment. There's plenty of space for players to move into. And then there's also these longer options who are prepared to run down and find a position in the goal square. Barry Hall has 1 goal.
The Saints have taken the ball inside their forward line 5 times more than the Bombers. It's 12-17, which is a fairly significant advantage at this early stage.
So Hall going for St Kilda's 5th goal. He's got it. St Kilda 5 goals in the first quarter. 2 at this stage, Essendon just the 2.
And Kevin Sheedy down early, as he often does, particularly when the side is behind. He gets down just to let the fellows know that things aren't quite right. I'm sure it's symbolic as much as anything else, and a message, a silent message going out to the players at time to extract the digit and really have a look at their performance.
Well, it's like a shootout at the OK Corral at the present time. We're seeing some wonderful goals kicked. Alessio goes up. He's on the ball now. Hurd had it, then lost it. Burke. Peckett is getting free on this side of the ground. They need to go closer on him as the ball is kicked inside the 50 and Hall's got it. Hall to the middle. Brown is loose. And Brown's marked about 25 metres out. So some good hard running out of the centre square. Brown just tearing up the middle. And popping up on the end of that Hall kick.
And the midfield for the Saints really are getting their share of the football. This will be Brown's 7th possession. Aussie Jones has had 6.
The lead is 29 points.
And just to continue to flavour that midfield dominance, Matthew Young running across the half-back line. He really is getting his share of the football with 11 possessions on Mark Mercuri. Peter Everitt's done quite well with 2 kicks and 3 handballs. Not bad stats for a big bloke. And Rob Harvey also with 6. And Nathan Burke, as always, racking up his disposals with 6 also. But the major figure at the present time is the 6 goals that the Saints have got on the board. 14 scoring shots to 6.
So 28-point lead to St Kilda. Tony Brown gets his 2nd goal. Harvey can't get away from Morgan. The ball eventually just spills towards St Kilda's forward line. Everitt, then Winmar. Flicked away. St Kilda controlling. Very good work. Just enough there. Mickey Winmar, Gary Moorcroft. By Vince Sarisa. And very, very quickly. A 6-goal opening quarter to St Kilda. Essendon just the 2.
Outstanding performance by the Saints then. Most of it generated in the centre square initially.
Reminder that that little mistake cost them a goal, and also James Hurd was again concerned about them getting the ball out of the centre. Very, very critical.
Start of the second term, St Kilda coming off their best first quarter for over a year. 44 points. Channel 7, footy's home ground. Away we go. Everitt knocks it down. Spills wide of the pack. Mercedes down towards half forward. Was that a push? Sierakowski knocked it only as far as Long. Long from 52. Down towards full forward. Alessio controls it. Mercuri hacks it out of midair and misses narrowly.
Once again at the opening bounce, we saw Rob Harvey just seconds before the umpire bounced the ball run out of the square, leaving it 3-on-3.
Young. Peckett missed it. Burke waiting behind. Peckett, chance to make amends. Gets it away. Shanahan, so reliable. Boots it out wide. Magnificently, Simons hit the ground running, comes away. Short chip back to half forward. Inspirational stuff. Mercuri 45 out, settles, heads for home, and slots it. There's one for the highlight reel.
And the crowd would have gone up in unison. Football bombers. Wasn't that just fantastic play? Big fly in the wing from Michael Simons. Nice chip over to Mercuri. He could have hit a couple on the chest also, but elected to go with the goal, and he did it. There's the grab from Simons. One thing we know about him, he has got a leap and an exciting player. Straight through the middle from Mark Mercuri. He probably needed that one just to square the ledger up with his direct opponent in Young.
So St Kilda now by 21. Ryan O'Connor, number 3, up against Everitt, number 10 for St Kilda. Neither get it clear, but both of them go back at it again. Finally, O'Connor, his handball towards Morgan. He's in trouble in the hard centre wicket here at the MCG. Brown lopes it over the top to Jones. In turn out to Harvey. Steps, can't step around the Essendon defence. Great tackle there from Simons. Out towards Doolan, and his kick along the ground. Perfect. Over the line and out of bounds. Judgment at which they can go for the boundary line is quite incredible now. 2 big fellas again. Pairs of small players. It's one-on-one football this game. Mercedes gets out, gets the kick away into half forward. Wakeland, Darryl Wakeland in front of Alessio, breaks away. runs his full distance in towards half forward. Winmar slightly under the ball. O'Connor a little bit slow on the give. Everitt was there, but eventually it's with Harvey. He has space out wide towards Alessio. He can turn and go. Does do that, takes time to look, tosses one up high. Lloyd from behind. Didn't get to it. The Rovers are asked to do it. And Shanahan eventually off the ground, one behind. So an opportunity there with Alessio, a free ball right in the centre of the ground, but unable to make it convert.
And Lloyd electing to go for the big fly. He indicated that he wanted the ball long rather than run at Alessio for the lead.
Young in short to Brown. Good creative running too by Alessio, who chased Wakelin out and then anticipated a turnover. Wakelin stood watching his work go up the ground and didn't run across with him. This is Peckett. Harvey on the wing. Well done. Beautiful hand pass into space. Bounces obligingly for Peckett, who pulls it back inside the 50. Hall has been strong. Another very good mark. He's kicked two, Barry Hall.
And his leap really has added a new dimension to the St Kilda forward line. Got options now of Lowe, Harvey, and Lowe, Everitt, and Hall. Two of them really mobile. Everitt pretty mobile for a bloke of his size. This fellow's leap is a beauty.
Coming off a long run here. Akin to Wes, no relation. There goes the kick. And misses to the left-hand side.
It's his first miss for the afternoon, so 2 goals, 1 to Barry Hall. Gary Moorcroft just waiting for the goal umpire to complete waving the flag.
He's built like a fridge, isn't he?
He's a stocky little bloke. To Harvey. 201st game of AFL football for Mark Harvey. Flicked on over to the back to Long. Look at him go. There he is. The man back in flight. A couple of bounces. Settles on the wing. Kicks inside 50 to Alessio. Too tall.
Brilliant turning circle from Michael Long. He has got fantastic agility, and it was on display.
He's just followed up and continued the run for an extra 80 metres. Provided Alessio with an option. But then coached the big man into having a shot himself. Just Wakelin caught out underneath the ball, and Alessio well judged. 2 behinds to date for Stephen Alessio. And he makes it 3 behinds.
And they're the problems that players have when they're coming off big absences. Alessio's had the Neil Buzzy flu now for 3 weeks. And whilst you're able to train and still kick the football, it's not the same as practicing under the pressure of a big crowd here at the MCG.
There's Brown. Wide. Jones, little chip pass. Harvey. A little more distance. That's precision. Wakelin on the wing. Thought about it. Told to play on now. So Wakelin kicks just inside the 50. Hall is up almost. Lowe was there too. Doolan. Nicely done. Mercedes falling to the ground. Wellman hacked it out of mid-air. Young sends it back though. Intended for Everitt. And he's marked about 20 metres out. Slight angle.
And once again, the Saints are getting a real advantage because the Bombers are just struggling to pick Everitt up. They don't know whether to run off him and perhaps use their mobility as an advantage for the Bombers, or to stay with him. And if there's a quick turnover, as we just saw, and Young is able to pinpoint a man, Everitt comes up with an easy shot on goal.
Going at his second right here. Kicks very nicely.
So 1 goal apiece now to both sides in this second term, and the Saints still looking pretty good. Their players just appear to be growing in confidence. They've set themselves, it would appear, for this match. And Matthew Young continues to be a fairly good player for the Saints. His disposal, as always, pretty high quality.
And most importantly, Peter Everitt's second goal has denied Essendon of consecutive goals. They haven't yet done that in this match. Essendon haven't got 2 goals on the run. St Kilda have been able to answer on every occasion. Essendon now building something from half-back, but they've gone fairly wide. McCurry, this time out, points Young. The right foot in towards centre-half forward. Hudson flicking it back. Ryan, O'Connor to Michael Long, in there towards Hurd. Can't complete it. Campbell wrapped up there by Alessio. Hurd has some space, feeds out to Pryor, settles from 25, goals. Hurd continuing just to have those fine influences on the game, and this time sets up Pryor.
And the stamp of a champion there once again, because just have a look here. Surely going through his mind was the big snap around the corner, but the peripheral vision, there was a look, but then the peripheral vision picked out Pryor, who had a golden opportunity and scored.
Michael Pryor, set up by James Hurd. And again, 3-on-3 in the centre square. Revolutionary. Brown went down. Alessio comes away, feeds it back. There's Moorcroft. Kicks well inside the 50. They come from all directions. Loose ball behind. Waiting there is Young. Gathers. Kicks back to half-back. Everitt comes away towards the wing. It was touched off the boot. Goes across towards Thompson. He fumbled. Harvey. Now a chance for the Bombers to punish them in the opposite direction. McCurry pulls it back, looking for Hurd on a collision course there. It ricochets to Wakeland. Got the hand pass to Harvey. Sirakoski throws it on the boot towards the outer side. Plenty of Saints out there. Peckett missed it. Pryor surrounded, beats two of them. Michael Pryor got the last goal, comes away. His confidence high. Wakeland from behind, fisting away from Mercedes, and he gets it out of bounds just inside the attacking 50 for the Bombers as we go down to Rice.
Yes, well, we just saw Andrew Bomford come onto the ground, so he gets an opportunity, but some costly turnovers that neither side has taken opportunity of scoring goals with.
Thank you, Russ.
So Mercedes from 50 goes long towards the square, just another behind. So Essendon now moving on to 4 goals, 8 behinds. St Kilda 7 goals, 9 in what are quite ideal conditions. Many of those behinds have been forced and rushed over by the defence. Matthew Young to Zilla, who's allowed to run outside 50. There's 2 Saints out there, a big one and a little one. It's the little one that takes it and Peckett. He in turn in towards Hall, sets himself once, missed it. Thompson the rover, Winmar can't step out, legged, allowed to play on by the umpire. Wellman under the pressure from Thompson. Now Hall's in there amongst them all. They continue on until the umpire says it's my ball.
Well, what about the second effort there of young Andrew Thompson? He had a turnover on centre wing a couple of minutes ago, but he's made up for it on that occasion because that ball was off and running for the Bombers, but he dived in. It was a second effort, and he's blocked it up in their forward 50.
So Lowe to do the ruck work against Alessio. Doesn't clear the air, and Morgan dives on it. Fletcher does what a good backman does and just kicks it out of the area. Get it away from here.
Oh.
Bomford on the ground for his first run. Steps around, gets the kick on the left foot. It's a one-on-one duel. Tony Brown, very good. He's really had the better of Mercedes in this early stage of the match. To Jones. A good switch to the outer side. Peckett. Everitt's the target. Lucas the spoiler for Essendon. Everitt, up he comes. The bounce favours him. On the left foot, goes bang with it. But Ola Renshaw, the first man back for the Bombers.
And Lucas appears to have been charged with running with Peter Everitt.
Ola Renshaw spots Doolan. Doolan comes up towards the wing. Bomford committed to the ball and as a result went down. Young chips back towards half forward. Thompson is about 75 metres out from goal. Lowe wants it in the middle. He sends it down in that direction. Hall behind Lowe. They interfered with each other that time. Actually made contact. Here's Lucas on his knees. Back towards Fletcher. Out of the back pocket. Bounces it towards Pryor. And Pryor deflects it towards the boundary line. So a throw in. 7-9 plays 4-8. St Kilda lead. The breeze not a factor. Let's try Russell again as Pryor comes away with it. Russ?
Yes, Dennis. Look, Mark McCurry's come up with some form of thigh injury. Not too sure whether it's a tear or a corky, but it looks like it might be a corky. So hopefully for Essendon he's back.
Long to Hurd, both back in the side this afternoon, combining there. James Hurd about 85 metres from goal. A centering kick. Lloyd will get there first. Berbatov did well on his man in the run to that ball, buying a little time there for Matthew Lloyd. And Lloyd finds himself about 45 metres out with a chance to kick his first goal of the afternoon.
And a critical time now for the Saints, because the Bombers appear to be settling now and getting their act together. And it does appear as if when Hurd pushes down outside the forward 50, it just opens up a bit more space for Lloyd. And that combination there working well.
Very good kick. 5 goals for the Bombers.
Well, they've lost McCurry now, and perhaps that's an aggravation of that hip injury that he came off the ground with against the Crows last week. One just wonders whether or not he will be back on, given last week's results. But Michael Long there, what a fantastic kick to the bootless James Hurd. And having no sprigs on his left foot didn't affect his stability, and a magnificent kick to Lloyd.
So Essendon back within 13 points for the first time, getting consecutive goals. This time we've got the 4 pairs in the centre bounce area. Harvey, one of them, charges through. Kick smothered. Up at his Bomford doing the work there with Young. Young is the spoiler for St Kilda. Down to Brown on his natural left foot. It's a beautiful kick to Lowe. Brown, a very good user of the ball. Lowe has Everitt sitting behind. Watch this. Couldn't complete it. Morgan does the roving. Cleans up around the back. In towards Doolan. Have to stand strong. Loses sight of the ball in the second attempt. Gets the free kick.
Yeah, some great defensive work there from the young man, who picked out a man rather than just blasting it from defence.
Doolan's kick intercepted by Young. Joel Smith is off. Umpire agrees. Alessio cleans it up to Masiti. Quick kick in towards the area of the forward line. Shanahan caught behind. Hurd again. He's held there by Sierakowski. Hurd gets up. Hurd kicks. Wrong side. 5-9 plays a 7-9.
Superb balance. May have been touched off the boot in any case and may have deflected it slightly. So we're back to 12 points now. So Essendon enjoying their best period of the game. Playing the huddle. And the kick comes out to Peckett. No zone defence employed by the Bombers that time. This is Pryor. Lost it to Zilla. Zilla knocking it up towards the wing. Denham working industriously, goes back to Moorcroft, gets it to Doolan, cruising past it on his left foot is Ola Renshaw. Ola Renshaw, a big boot for him, a couple of Bombers down there. Long, the look away hand pass, bumped it into an open goal. 6 points the difference.
Well, a couple of fantastic pieces of play there. One was perhaps the call from the coach's box to go to the huddle, because they'll mark that down as a goal after changing from the zone defence to the huddle, and that was the other one. Look-away handball as described by D Committee, and Golden Voice has produced a goal.
Thank you.
3 consecutive goals to Essendon. So Andrew Bomford gets his first goal. Previously had spent time on the Sydney list, a lot of reserves football, and gets a great opportunity in a great game. Matthew Lloyd. Here come Essendon going for their 4th consecutive. It's a vacant square. The umpire doing the right thing, just waving away towards Leake stump and allowing it to go through for a behind.
Glenn Coghlan onto the ground for the Saints. Thompson coming off. No, it wasn't Thompson. Further on that later.
Joel Smith towards Coghlan. Under pressure there from Simmons. Hurd. Andrew Thompson, good tackle on Hurd. Sirakoski's in there as well.
Any chance of Russell?
By Peter Carey in total control there. So St Kilda coming off a very good last quarter. Last week against Port Adelaide, where they kicked the last 7 goals of the match. Started this finally, but now Essendon are on the march back. Mercedes, kick towards Alessio. Wakeland the spoiler. Alessio again. And again, that's 3 goes at it on the right foot. Up to the square. Lloyd completes it. Yes, says the umpire. Plays on. Left foot. He's goal. Two goals to Matthew Lloyd. Coming off 5 last week. And this is a class act, this boy.
Yes, great passage of play here by the Bombers. Alessio and Lloyd. 2 men that could well feature for the Bombers for the next decade or so.
The Bombers in front then by a point. Last time they led was after the very first goal of the match. Ola Renshaw at it, Pryor in the opposite direction. Mercedes, who's been very important, alongside the centre circle. Looking deep into attack, and why not? Hurd is the target. Wakeland almost. Ola Renshaw to the voice. Morgan off his step from about 48. Lloyd again is down there. Long back with the flight of the ball. Coughlin was pushed in the back, was he? And he'll get the free kick. Now, I don't think Coughlin was listed in their original squad, so maybe Healy, who's not on the bench there for them. Not a bad substitution when they looked at the two sides, thinking they may need a bit of size down there. There's Morgan with some dash, slips away, pulls it back. Denham gets by Smith. Here's Harvey, forward of the wing, sends it back inside the 50. Young was up, loose ball. Lloyd, still Lloyd over it. Plenty of company, as you can see. That's locked in there. His team up by a point, 52-51, after they trailed by 28 at quarter time. So this has been a heck of a comeback.
Crucial period here for the Saints. Looking to be able to take some control of this game back as we approach half time. Robbie Harvey, he wants to just give the ball away. I think his brother Anthony must have been sitting out there. Take that one home to have kicked the kick in the backyard. Harvey 7 disposals in the first quarter and held just to 4 in this second quarter. Nathan Burke hasn't had one yet this quarter at all. So Essendon really been able to negate the drive that St Kilda had early. Pryor, some 80 metres out from goal to within 20. A big pack fly. Young at ground level, wobbles one out towards Brown. The bounce was awkwardly for him. He's met there by Mercedes. The ball spills to Morgan, to Pryor. This boy's really setting something up from half-back. He's gone in, he's got it. Oh! Well, no prior opportunity required there.
And what about that hand pass to get him away? Wasn't that an absolute ripper? Morgan, I think it was.
Well, he just set it up and allowed Michael Pryor the chance to run onto the ball. And we'll just have another look at it. Nice little bump there to take Brown out of the contest from Mercedes. And it was Danny Morgan who set up this fantastic conversion. What a goal.
Michael Pryor's got 2 goals. Danny Morgan, the hand pass, just sending him into space. The sharp angle, but he overcame that. Nicky Winmar's off the ground. Alessio out of the middle, down towards half forward. So the Saints with some problems now. Wakeland dragged down, and now 50. This will bring him up to the centre. Umpire Cercia stepping it out backwards. Wakeland will kick alongside the centre circle. Everitt up ahead. Worked his heart out in the opening half, and he'd look at that scoreboard and be a bit dismayed, Peter Everitt. What's the story with Nicky Winmar, Russ?
Well, Dennis, he's having trouble breathing. He's just the doctors administered the asthma spray, so he's just got his head over his knees at the moment and just trying to get some air.
Well, in the meantime, Stewie Lowe's got the footy.
It was a darn good kick and a classic Stuart Lowe mark. There's Nicky Winmar, who's just struggling for air.
And Stewie looking to buy a little breathing space for the Saints. Beautiful pass into a hole. Stewie, well, no one really wants to step in front anyway. A lot of meat on the hoof. Stewie Lowe, 48 out, not his best effort. It wobbles down to Wellman. And he takes the marker meter out. Short one to the pocket. Fletcher. The Saints need to hang on here to half-time. So often we've seen them get a fast start, get a break in a game, and then fall away. Test of their mettle here at the MCG. Alessio, that's a strong grab. Waitman's finding the matchup difficult.
Chris Danaher has come onto the ground to go on to Coughlin. I'm not sure it is Coughlin. I wouldn't be surprised if that's Healy in Coughlin's jumper, Dennis. We'll get more on that from Russell at half-time.
Incognito, so to speak.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Moorcroft on his left foot along the wing. Ryan O'Connor, well judged. Good mark against Jamie Shanahan. Wheels around now, wanting to get the ball moving. Kicks to centre half forward. Everett's back in defence. Sierakowski's the spoiler, along the ground level. Coughlin, all the lookalikes in there amongst it, and wraps it up.
Let's have a good look at him. That does appear to be Glenn Coughlin. Down to you, Russell.
It's Glenn Coughlin. I think, Jared, you're probably losing your hair just as much as your sight.
Oh,
I'll get onto the carrots, mate.
O'Connor and Everitt. Morgan again. Been ever so good in close. Campbell to Everitt to Burke. Quiet in this quarter. Coughlin runs through half back. His kick into Lowe's good. Feeds on. Coughlin keeps coming under pressure from Danaher. Essendon now winning the crucial balls when they're being turned over. Here they go again. Harvey. The look away handball. Moorcroft on the left. There's a one-on-one duel. Campbell and Long. Campbell goes to ground. Long stays upright with the ball over the line and out of bounds.
They are hitting them very hard, are they not? Essendon, they're really finding their marks and crashing in.
O'Connor takes it from the ruck. Brown, Morgan's the tackler, allowing Scotty Lucas to come away on the left. The big fella, he's ran his full distance. Kicks long, Hurd's the target. Sierakowski spoils. Danaher fresh on the ground, bursts onto it. Hurd again, takes two on, but with vision tosses the ball towards Simons, and he's got it. Michael Simons right on 50. Beautiful kick.
Pretty frustrating there for Campbell, because there was absolutely nothing he could do with that. Brad Campbell, a young player who's charged with minding one of the stars of the game, and when the delivery is as pinpoint as Michael Simons was on that occasion, it's just going to be sheer impossible to prevent Michael Long from taking the mark.
So Michael Long, one of 7 changes to the Essendon lineup. A couple of not too bad footballers coming back into the side this week. This fella, he just settles on his left, pulls it away to the right. Really didn't approach the ball with too much force or momentum in the run-up. Sort of poked at it and it drifts away to the left. Players coming into the Essendon lineup: Harvey, Hurd, Long, Morgan, Alessio, Bomford and Moorcroft. Shanahan on the left foot will reach the wing position. Lappin, he's on the ground for Winmar. Kicks in towards half forward. Hasn't got down here too often of late, and Wellman turns them back again.
To Morgan. Towards centre half forward. Awkward half volley. O'Connor did brilliantly. Releases Long. 52 metres out. Nobody in the square. Well, those that are there, red and black. Hurd running back. decided to take it. He's taken this mark about 5 metres out. Powerhouse second term from the Bombers. At quarter time, they were 2-4. This is their best second quarter of the season, eclipsing 38 points against North Melbourne in round 3. Hurd gets his second goal.
Yes, and it's Brad Campbell coming off the ground and replaced by Nick Winmar. And this was just great play, wasn't it? Good mark from Wellman. He won that one. And then a fine pick up there by Ryan O'Connor, who really does impress me as a player. He's got an unusual build for a forward, but or for a footballer, in fact. But he can go into the ruck, and he's changed the way he rucks to make it competitive. And he's got excellent skills, as we just saw there on that half volley.
So Hurd 2 goals, Michael Pryor 2, and Matthew Lloyd 2. Principal scorers for Essendon in this avalanche of goals in the second quarter. St Kilda under siege once again in the final seconds. Matthew Young at halfback. Here's Long. He sets up Danaher. Tries to feed inside. Sierakowski's hand was enough. Danaher gets a second opportunity to Hurd. The siren's beaten him.
Ricochet.
No score there, the signal from the field umpire. But I'd suggest a moral victory right on the end there for even James Hurd in a comeback game.
Yeah, it's a big turnaround, wasn't it? Perhaps St Kilda will be very disappointed, bitterly disappointed. In fact, just 1 goal won after getting that goal pretty early in the term, Dennis.
4 times this season behind. They've lost all 4. And they trailed at half-time. There's James Hurd. Start of the third term then. St Kilda with the job in front of them now after what was a lackluster second quarter. Clean possession, Alessio out of the middle. Kicks well inside the 50. That's a thumping kick. Shanahan in front of O'Connor did well, shielding the ball with his body.
And the Saints have continued to start Scott Lucas as a spare man in defence. Then he runs up into the middle of the ground to pick up Peter Everitt.
Young, his 15th kick, goes in short. Aussie Jones thought about going. Now kicks through the centre square, or tried to. Harvey in front. Denham, quick hands away. Long to his own advantage. Unkind bounce though. Missed by Smith. Burke pushed off the kick. It spills wide. Lapham's got the run of it now. Did nicely. Burke on the overlap down towards half forward. Hall, who's been pretty good on the forward line, beaten this time by Wellman. Heads for the boundary line. Didn't find it. Peckett concedes some ground. Comes back to Burke. Pulls it in towards the middle, but Lucas takes the mark uncontested. Changes the direction of play. Doolan, good concentration there. Man bearing down. Doolan. Alessio, metres in the clear on the outer side. Will the ball get to him? Yes, it does. Steve Alessio on the wing. Ola Renshaw wants it. Closing him down, Winmar. Ball loose behind. Shanahan did well. Good shepherd from Thompson. O'Connor fought back. Simons against the flow. Simons from about 65 out. Down towards full forward. Sierakowski missed it. Taken there by Zilla. The hand pass to no one. Chance for Lloyd. Feeds it back. Morgan snaps. Good looking effort, Morgan. Just missed.
Venturous hand pass there from Stephen Zilla. Really under the pressure that St Kilda defence were on that occasion. Just get it boot to ball and get it out of the area. We've gone out wide this time. Young, a couple of casual bounces, finds Harvey. Danny Morgan, the shadow for Robert Harvey this afternoon. In towards centre half forward, the spoil from Wellman. Thompson flicks it on out to Jones. Have they the opportunity here to get the first of the second half? They have. Austin Jones gets his first for the afternoon. And St Kilda get the first one following 6 goals straight to Essendon, which ended the second quarter.
And Young once again getting the ball out of the defensive area onto Harvey. And the miniature replica of Rob Harvey in Aussie Jones will be on the end of this one, just getting away from his opponent Doolan, getting a vital goal.
So the young brigade of St Kilda gaining experience Austin Jones in his 49th game. Can they be the catalyst for the Saints to come back? Setting up a rebound now from half-back. Peckett playing on the wing over the last few weeks. Into Lowe. Taking the mark. Joel Smith giving it back to the big man. His kick, Everitt, has floated down to the forward line. The big reach. Roving is by Lappin. He's found some space. Does the banana. Kicks the goal. Saints coming. Two quick goals that bring St Kilda back within 3 points.
And this was perhaps goal of the day from Matthew Lappin. Brilliant piece of play by the Saints. And just have a look at the way he reads this off the pack in. Burst number 22. Keeps his feet all important. Shows a great burst of speed. And has got a big bout of the smarts, the football smarts there. Big dose of them. Straight through with a banana.
So the Lappin family amongst the goals today. There's a bounce back in the middle, 9-12, 9-9. So St Kilda, the flying start to the third term. Alessio waits. Everitt goes over the top. It bounces back to Alessio. The second time he's unloaded from the centre. The second time, though, it's been repulsed. Wakelin on the chest defiantly. Pops it out wide. There's Young. He's at left half back. Roaring crowd. Young towards half forward and Everitt. Missed the mark. Lappin, was he taken high? I think he was. He'll get the free. No, in fact, it's coming back to Everitt.
Matthew Young is the loose man in defence when Scott Lucas plays a similar role for the Bombers at centre bounces.
Everitt to Young. Seeing a lot of the ball today. 17 kicks, 3 hand passes now.
If that being the case, Jerry, you'd really give the honours to Matthew Young. I mean, he's been very good rebounding off half back.
Yeah, he's certainly got plenty of the football.
The side down by 3 points. Young took a lot of time, as we saw. The bootlace undone. Eventually it comes to Brown to Smith. Snaps it down towards full forward Alessio. Clever mark, decides to go. That's ambitious. Hall got him. Up towards half back. Lloyd throws it on the boot, out of bounds on the full. Lack of talking there to Steve Alessio. We thought he was clear, but Hall was lurking. Peckett's got it. About 80 metres out. Puts it high. Low. Almost. Timely intervention there from Ola Renshaw. Fletcher to Simons. Back it comes now to Morgan. And Morgan proceeds to go very close to the boundary line, but not out. Lloyd did well. Lloyd a couple of goals. Chips it up towards the wing. O'Connor helped under the ball by Shanahan. Behind it's Jones. Accelerates away. Probing kick down towards half forward. Hall couldn't hang on. In goes Thompson. Upended by Harvey. Hall's there again. And a whistle. Essendon by 3 points.
Essendon led by 1 point early in the last quarter last week against Adelaide, and were then overrun by 9 goals. St Kilda may be having a go at that same play a little bit earlier in the match here this week. Brown to Harvey, can't get space, gives it to Everitt. He's confronted, but big enough to be able to get out there with a little kick out to Jones. Well, Everitt tripping the light, fantastic in there, a couple of little steps. Found the space to be able to get it on out, and Jones completed the mark. He will shoot from goal from some 40 metres out.
Now, I'm sure I'm not seeing double, but Andrew Thompson has in fact come off the ground, and Daniel Healy has gone on.
Number 6, Jared, Daniel Healy, not 30, but also Chris Denner's come on to counter the attack off the half-back line of Matthew Young.
Thanks for that, Russ. Yes, and unfortunately for the Saints, they weren't able to convert.
So St Kilda now down by 2 points. Gary Moorcroft continued kicking in for Essendon. He has big Alessio right down the centre of the ground and should go for it. Does so. Alessio, Lowe and Fletcher. Comes to ground level. Morgan, very good handball. Releases Denham on the burst with the left foot. He in turn towards Bumford. Doolan doing the roving. Has a lead out wide. Lloyd has to get round Wakelin. Comes around on the left foot. Tosses it into the contest. Hurd.
What about the acceleration there, Wheels? He was 3 metres behind. He expected the ball to come over the top. It was a short kick. Wasn't a great kick actually coming into Hurd, but he was so quick. Have a look at this one. Lloyd just around the corner there. You see Hurd. He is the quickest to change from running back to forward and gets a shot.
Hurd for his 3rd goal. And solidly pounds it into the woodwork.
And bit his tongue. I think that's good to see. Young. Sierakowski comes away then towards the outer side. Hand pass from Lloyd. Little chip pass comes into Morgan. Came from Masidi. Morgan towards the pocket now. Sierakowski bumped out of it. Legally, says the umpire. And Hurd has claimed the mark, having just practiced from this position.
And for those that saw What's Your Decision with John Russo at between 12 and 2, maybe just wondering what the difference between that and Mitten Connells was.
Great start. James Hurd. What's he learned from the previous kick? Plenty. Champions learn quickly.
That one certainly had a bit of the old in-swing on it. And here he goes, just getting away from his opponent. Sierakowski taking the forward option, and a pretty dangerous one, although it's pretty difficult to match up a player of Hurd's ability.
So the ball does not get rebounced in the centre. There was a free kick awarded to Peter Everitt. Michael Long right in amongst it there. St Kilda with the opportunity now. Winmar. Very quiet day by his lofty standards. Inside, low, has the height over his teammate Joel Smith. Takes the mark.
The game's gone up a notch or two. Both sides realise that it's up for grabs.
A lot at stake here. St Kilda playing to get into the 8. Have the opportunity of displacing Essendon from that position. Would dearly love to do it. Something has tickled Joel Smith's fancy. This was the incident prior to the ball being bounced after James Hurd's goal. And he's quite tall, isn't he, Michael?
Spider versus Dandy Longlegs.
That did look funny.
Alessio intercepts the Smith kick into the forward line. Releases Pryor, the runner. Out wide, Danaher keeps his footing. Very well done. That's experienced football. Feeds it on towards Doolan. His quick kick into the forward line. Lloyd, one will come around to his left. Does so. He's got Hurd. Great relationship between those two boys on display here. That's the gist. Lloyd showing all the respect he can muster for this champion, James Hurd. Best and fairest winner in the last 3 seasons with Essendon. It's kicked 3, has now kicked 4. The last 2 goals this quarter belong to James Hurd.
And he always appeared to be the difference between these two sides. With Hurd coming into the side, they had that added extra up on the forward line, that match-winning ability that he has brought to the Essendon side since his arrival in the late 80s. Might have been the early 90s, not sure on that one, but he's been a real part of this game for so long now.
What a comeback. James Hurd 4 goals, and the Bombers storming back as well. Alessio and Everitt. Everitt knocked it down. It was Hurd. Everett slow to get up. Meantime, Masidi off his step, helped by Morgan, kicks inside the 50. Campbell, surely a mark, nothing doing. Butters up again, played it well. Here's Harvey coming away from half-back. Runner inside. Young through midfield. Kicks inside the 50. Lowe is there. And he's taken the mark, as it was at the other end. The body on the man in front. And Lowe to shoot at goal directly in front, about 35 metres out. His team down by 15 points. It's happened quickly.
And this has been a great battle. Perhaps this year's Victorian centre-half forward versus the centre-half back.
Hang on, I'll write that down.
In pretty good form, in particular the last few weeks. Fletcher started the season in fine fashion. Important goal, that one for the Saints. They now trail by just the 9 points. Stuart Lowe is just so strong. Fletcher, I think, would have a far better chance of spoiling him when he's just on his shoulder, but just a step behind and coming over the top, because once Lowe lays body on you, you generally rebound.
Essendon, who have won 70% of their games over the last 4 years when they've played at the MCG, now under pressure. St Kilda have got to within 9 points after the Stuart Lowe goal, and they're really in there fighting now, the Saints. Stanells certainly has stirred them up at half-time.
Glenn Coghlan just come on the ground to replace Daryl Wakeland, and he's gone straight onto James Hird, and there's a bit of pushing and shoving, so obviously Coghlan's trying to assert his authority with James Hird, and Sirakoski's moved on to Lloyd.
So we just saw the emergency umpire out there with that couple. Peckett, the flick away handball out wide. Lappin feeds it back in. Holler Renshaw for Essendon relieves the pressure momentarily out towards the wing. Danaher and Young. Danaher, the experienced, keeps his footing, has no support. The support belongs with St Kilda. It's Campbell, young Brad Campbell, ever so coolly slots it in towards Heatley on the ground. He steps around, he's a left footer, can't get around to there. Eventually gives it to Burke. Everitt gonna make it? He does. And has no problem showing big Ryan O'Connor that the ball is his.
A lot of angst around this ground at the moment, isn't there? You've got to be quick to pick it up.
Coghlan and Hird right at the other end of the ground. Now we have Everitt. He'll be kicking from some 55 metres out. Lowe is in the goal square. He lets one go. It's not going to score. It's reaching right to the square. The Essendon defence, very professionally, without hesitation, force it over the line for the one behind.
Healy and Thompson have just done the swap again. Thompson back onto the ground.
The emergency umpire has been out once. Darren McCauley in that role today. He umpired the Bulldogs and Hawthorn last weekend, dropped this weekend. Harvey, meantime, comes out to Simons. He's paid the mark, was he? No. He thought it was a mark. Didn't matter much, no pressure. Denham, Rollman, thought of half-back, now they'll move. Wellman down towards centre-half forward. Big pack at the drop of the ball. Sirakoski judged it best. Just drifting back. Now comes out wide to Burke on the wing. He's been quiet today, only 12 possessions. Certainly by his lofty standards. This is Winmar into space and Harvey inside the 50. Plenty of room upfield. Harvey hangs on to it now. Not beyond him this kick. There's Stewie working double time. Well, that's rather careless. Winmar, so's that. Harvey, not for the time capsule, all that. And we'll have a bounce.
It's unbelievable. Robert Harvey, a man who showed so much poise in the heat of the contest, lets his side down with a disposal like that.
Bounce about 60 metres out. Hall hits it hard. Hits it directly across the line. Essendon by 8 points. Just under 7 minutes till three-quarter time. At the other end, Coghlan and Hird. Ball's at the feet of the pack. Harvey thumps it wide. Burke. Little return for a lot of effort there. Scrambling, scratching. Another throw in. Hird coming up a kick away from the action now, and perhaps closer to the emergency umpire. Not bad thinking. Tossed in. Hall. Brown's over the ball. No orphan.
For all the bravado of pushing and shoving,
it's nonsense, isn't it?
It is an absolute joke. When the footy comes down, then you can see who can assert their authority.
The remarkable thing is when the ball comes down, generally the bloke who's instigated most of this disappears.
Strangely enough.
Now, you wonder about the role of umpires in that, because Hurd needs to be careful, but he's got to look after his own interests. He can't stand there like a rag doll and just get pushed around. Well, he sees the humour in it. That's good. But if this were to lead to a report for James Hurd, then Essendon have every reason to be very upset. The emergency umpire should be going across and I think having more to say to Coughlin as the ball is out of bounds again. I don't know. It's a grey area in the rules, but it's something we could well do without. I presume I speak for all of us.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, Dennis, but...
and this is where James has got to be careful, doesn't it?
It's a joke.
But that's the one thing that Coughlin's after, is for James to throw it.
Brown to Harvey meantime. Harvey dragged down. Good chase from Masidi. Had prior opportunity. So Joe Masidi from half-back. Hurd wants the ball. He wants to make a point. Goes down in that direction. Now Coughlin gives him 10 metres. Not the time to lose him. Long gets the hand pass across towards Bomford. Hand pass comes to Winmar. It was well played by the defence there. The hand pass came out initially from Zilla, but the clearing kick not all that good, and as a result goes across the line. Now Coughlin finds Hurd again. That was ironic. The ball came down and suddenly Hurd was 15 metres in the clear.
So those pair join a pack of players in here at the boundary, throwing on the wing. Essendon leading by 8 points.
Supposed to be fair to Glenn Coughlin. His coach would have told him to go out there and annoy him. You coaches tend to do that.
You do. Well, there's no doubt that James Hurd is the one thing stopping St Kilda from winning this game of football. And Hurd's doing the right thing, getting in where the footy is.
Yes, well, Kevin Sheedy's got the luxury of being able to play James Hurd as a ruck rover. I'm not sure Glenn Coughlin would have the capacity to do that and go with him.
So it's Simons, the recipient of the free kick from umpire Peter Carey, breaks away into half-forward. Fletcher has floated down the ground, spins around, has Michael Long out wide. Beautifully weighted kick. Tremendous kick from Fletcher. That's what will hurt the Saints. Fletcher floating down the ground. Stuart Lowe was there with him. But just the quickness at which Fletcher turns, tosses the ball on towards Long, who was running away from the contest. Three weeks out of the game with a hamstring. Going for his first goal on the left foot. Essendon by 9. Matthew Young has Stuart Lowe. Needs to feed the runner. Does so over the top. It's Campbell. His kick over towards the wing position. Coming in front, Thompson. Couldn't complete it for St Kilda. Denham just allows the ball to trickle over the line and out of bounds. Sean Denham, second best in the competition at getting the ball out of the centre bounce area. The leader in that aspect of the game is Robert Harvey. The centre bounce ascendancy has belonged to Essendon here today. Lowe takes the ball out of the boundary throwing. Healy flicking it over the top, again out of bounds. So things just starting to tighten up. Bird and Coughlin continue their little sideshow here. Mark Harvey being strong in it.
Big Rhino's moved in.
Healy on the left foot, right to the top of the square. Everitt, one go, two goes. Fletcher getting back, runs the ball over the line, and one more behind to the Saints.
Very tense down here on the bench, especially with this the James Hurd-Coughlin confrontation. The whole bench is watching, just anticipating something to happen. It's just really weird feeling.
Meantime, back at the action, Moorcroft kicked in, and the free kick is going to Lowe against Doolan. Is that 50? No. Dry smile from Stewie. One goal this afternoon, makes it 24 in his career against the Bombers. Simons missed it. Harvey coming through. Wellman Wellman off his step up towards the wing. Shanahan fingertips to it. Down goes Hurd. That's the way to play him hard. Coghlan hit him hard. Doolan feeds it back into the middle. Mercedes, but Hurd slipped away. He's a will o' the wisp. He's about 70 metres out towards the pocket. Up down there was Danaher. Roving the pack is Lucas. Hudson got him. Spinning out of trouble. Danaher. The goal beckons. He goes in short to long. He didn't catch it. Still it's long. Gets away. Hand passes to Danaher. Danaher snaps. Gets a goal. His first.
Well, it took a long time coming, not just in minutes in this game, but in this passage of play. Have a look at this. Chris Danaher setting it up. The kick not all that flash. Michael Long just helping him out though with another good effort, and Chris Danaher running to where his kick went to, which is always important, gets a goal.
So Essendon returned to 14-point leaders, as the margin was at half-time. They pegged back a St Kilda lead, which was at 28 points at quarter time. Now we're into the real arm wrestle contest of the game. Sierakowski at half-back. A little sloppily. That's the word I'm trying to get out there, towards Shanahan. He now at half-back, kicks towards the wing position. Winmar in front, couldn't complete it. Lappin, who's been lively since coming on off the bench, decides to go long. It's a vacant square. It'll bounce once, twice. Peckett couldn't keep it in there. Did? No, didn't. (86-73). Essendon with 3 goals. St Kilda with 3 goals. Third quarter well balanced. Harvey.
Both Stuart Lowe and Peter Everitt are up on the full forward line, and despite that, there wasn't a marking option for young Lappin, and he went the big spiral torpedo. It was about a 1 in 50 chance of scoring.
James Hurd, as he always does, covering a lot of ground. Going to play against him, be prepared for a big running day. Essendon, Masiti, Doolan, Harvey, Simons, Olorenshaw. Eventually the kick on the left bounces over the head of Hurd. Shanahan to Zilla to Joel Smith. Has time to settle. A couple of bounces looking for Everitt. Has he got him? Yes, he has. Good work there from Joel Smith. Everitt a little slow to turn around and have a look. He had Stuart Lowe loose in the pocket.
Well, he's an excellent kick in general terms, Peter Everitt, from a standing start. This is a pretty vital goal. They're certainly not out of this game, St Kilda, despite trailing by 13 points.
Yes, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, from right on 50, looking for 1 in the third. He's got it. Seven points.
And they have dominated this quarter statistically. The Saints, a real blast from Stan at half-time, has seen a different St Kilda side come out. And just having a look at the inside 50, where you do tend to see value for your efforts, they've got 16-10. So Essendon haven't maintained the supply to their forward line.
Peter Everitt, 18 goals for the season, 3 this afternoon. I hate to say this, but I think he's got the potential to be a superstar, Everitt. Knocked down by Alessio. Coghlan in the opposite direction, down towards half forward. Picked up by Olorenshaw, going nowhere, tied up. Baller. Healy applied the tackle. Clock running down to 3/4 time. We've got ourselves a very good game of football right here.
James Hurd now loose man in defence, some 100 metres away from Glenn Coghlan. That's one way to defeat it.
So the former South Australian there. Daniel Healy on the siren. Worked over in that turn, James Hurd, but certainly an impact. 2 goals that gave Essendon a little breathing space. Now, what's that about? I'm not sure it's about the harassment. tight here at the MCG. Essendon lead it by 7 points now. James Hird 4 goals, 2 of them in it last term. Peter Everitt's got 3 for the Saints. Okay, at other venues today. Firstly at Subiaco Oval. The Brisbane Lions kicking very straight, trailed by 8 points. Parker, that's Daniel Parker and Bandy, both have booted 3. Mitchell has 2. Lappin and Bradshaw 4 goals apiece for the Lions. And at Optus Oval this afternoon, Carlton in control. They like playing there. 12-15-87 to 6-7-43. Manton 3 goals, Murphy 2. Big story coming out of that game. Jason Dunstall on crutches. He's re-injured his knee, so that's shocking news. Stan Alves jogging off the ground, and you get the feeling a lot riding on this final term for him. The Saints, a challenge for them today. They don't want to fail, Russell.
Certainly not, Dennis. I think the tactics that he employed in that third term by getting Coglan to harass Hird, I think they were very good, because what Coglan lacks in skill, I mean, Hird is always going to be a better player. So why not try and put him off his game? And obviously did that, because I think he had a word to Bomber Thompson, the Essendon assistant coach, to ask him, and Thompson just said, run up into defence, go around forward, you know, do the Terry Danaher, try and run him off his feet. That's what you're good at, because skill will always beat raw courage and determination.
Begs the question, though, should good players have to put up with that? About 100 metres from the ball. It's been there a long time, part of footy. Start of the final term. Incidentally, James Hird is the acting captain today, so had every right to speak with Peter Carey just as they came to the huddle. Alessio and Everitt hard at it all day. It's been an enthralling duel, that one. Everitt comes with the long run, thumps it down. First goal will be very handy. Brown congested, Pickett claimed by Morgan, belatedly tried to punch it out. A bit lucky there. Have to make an attempt, even if it is only cosmetic.
And the James and Glenn tango continues on, this time at full forward. And one suspects that Kevin Sheedy just wants the ball delivered to James Hird out in front.
Everett backhands it down, sharked by Mercedes. Floats it still inside the centre square. Long in front, awkward bounce, gathered brilliantly by Winmar. Goes towards half forward. Burke leads in the race, cuts back now, looks to the middle. Burke about 75 out, kicks for Hall, too much carry, but getting in behind is Healy. And Healy's directly in front, about 35 metres out.
And it is the likes of Winmar, Harvey, Burke and Aussie Jones that can win this game for St Kilda. That's probably been said at three-quarter time of most matches over the last 4 or 5 years, but they're the ones that can give them the drive, prevent the ball going into Essendon's forward line.
They're down by 7 points. Make that 1.
And I think that's the key to the game now for the Saints. They've just got to stop the supply into the Essendon forward line, because if it gets down there, they are going to get beaten. But clearly the Saints have got the stars in the middle of the ground to make the ball go their way. They've just got to continue to win the ball out of the centre. Everitt versus Alessio is a pretty fair battle. They've just got to penetrate their own forward line and keep the ball down there, the Saints.
St Kilda led by 28 points at quarter time. Essendon's greatest lead was 15 during the third quarter. Now it's been whittled down to just the 1 solitary point. They go forward. Hird fumbles on and out. Lucas does it a bit cleaner towards Mercedes. He's kicking to the forward line. Young from behind does the spoiling. Long does the road. Has he got the speed? Oh, they both go down from behind. Danaher. Michael Long just committed at the ball. Took a couple with him when he went down. And Danaher cleans up from behind.
He knew where it was going, though.
It was like a disappearing act. It was dead set magical. The Saints players thought they were going to rush the ball over, then all of a sudden Long sticks his long hand out and pulls it back into play. The goal results to Rhino. Get some tricks.
Well, how about that? Magic from Michael Long, stopping that ball dead and presenting the opportunity. Everitt. Other ideas, though. The Saints not done with yet. Brown inside the 50. Fletcher up very early. Moorcroft the crumbs, hooks it out wide. It bounces out towards the half-back boundary line and across. So a throw in. Bright sunshine now at the MCG. The limp up there. 92-85. Lowe and Fletcher. The bulk of Lowe prevailing. Brown improvising off the deck. Mercedes goes in hard. Robbed of the ball though. That's Healy. We'll have a bounce.
The Mercedes-Brown battle in the middle of the ground's been quite an interesting one. Joe Mercedes, as he always does, has amassed a fair amount of possession. Slightly down for him. He's got 19. Hasn't been a major player in the game, but Brown also with 17 possessions. They've probably done a fair bit for their sides, but nullified each other.
Well, the stakes are high. Lowe moves the ball. Healy hurriedly. Burke's taken the mark. Plays on immediately. Brown running into an open goal. Has kicked it. They're trading goals.
Well, I think Tony Brown has just taken the lead in that little battle between himself and Smoking Joe. And it will be the battle between these two players will probably be decided in the last quarter. Because, as I was saying, quite even. Nice take by the skipper there. And a good give. Sets up the Saints goal. They won't lie down. They're still in this contest.
So Tony Brown, 3 goals. Gives him a career best total in the game. And what an important one it was for the Saints. Burke, who was involved in that push forward, loses on this occasion. Umpire intervenes. Free kick there to Nathan Burke.
There's a lot of concern down here about Michael Long. He couldn't chase his opponent Ziller off the ball in that back line. He's stretching his thigh. The physio's with him at the moment. I'll keep you updated.
Saints push forward again through Lappin. Everett low from behind. Couldn't complete the mark. Fletcher's in there for the Bombers. Lappin very good. Scoops it out. Feeds on out towards Harvey. He's met there by Morgan. And the ball will be bounced some 45 metres out from the St Kilda goal. St Kilda trailing by just the 1 point. Michael Long just not moving all that well. 35 metres out from St Kilda's goal now. Mercedes back into it.
Long's opponent, Stephen Ziller, is starting to work into the middle of the ground, knowing that Long can't chase him. Michael Long pushing right back deep into the forward line.
Saints edging it ever so much closer to their goal. Healy, very good give from Brown. No, didn't get out. Lappin quickly onto the foot. The right foot bounces. It's bounced through. The Saints in front. Matthew Lappin really made an impact on the game since coming on. Replaced Nicky Winmar during the second quarter. And has been a very good player.
Well, he kept an absolute beauty in the third term, and that was also just threading the way through a lot of obstacles and just got the boot on the ball. Instinctive goal from Matthew Lappin, a beauty.
Saints by 5 points. Essendon's runner Brian Wood spending a lot of time on the ground at the present time. Had to hurt initially. And around to the defenders, but Everitt again doing very well, knocks it down. Mercedes has been good for the Bombers. Very smothered off the boot. Harvey to Young. Little chip pass across the ground. Hodgson's away. Has the bounce. The eagerness written all over his face. Kicks inside the 50. Under pressure, Hall brought it to the ground. They Lappin again, looking at his third. Settles 40 metres out. Can he finish? Not this time. Out of bounds on the full.
The Bombers have moved James Hird onto the ball to try and get some drive. They haven't got the ball inside their forward 50 all that often in this term. And it looks as if they're going to replace Steve Alessio.
Hird immediately the target, but Brown comes over the top. 3 goals to his credit. Concedes, comes back to Coughlin, to Winmar. Winmar kicks inside the 50, hanging it up below, off his fingertips, down behind. Healy Quick hands away, Mercedes. Did nicely to Morgan. Morgan under the pump. Floats it back towards midfield. Young marked the ball. Hit the ground running. Runs to 55. Unloads. Turns the defence around. Low. Grasping. Can't hang on. Behind.
Well, in many respects, it's a disadvantage for the forwards, but perhaps also the defenders at that end, because at this late point in the day, the sun is just beaming directly into your eyes to any balls coming.
One goal the difference. 13-14 Essendon. St Kilda 14-14. Bird and Harvey combining at half-back. Danaher from behind. Young couldn't get through the Mercedes tackle. The umpire decides to ball it up. Matthew Young had a very good day, 21 kicks at 3 handballs. Has laid half a dozen tackles, so he's certainly been in amongst it when it's needed. Right on centre wing, southern grandstand side, MCG. Channel 7, the home ground of football. Hurd and Brown.
Paul Tomei, the St Kilda runner, very much involved out there too.
O'Connor, left hand down towards Hurd. Then he does the tackling on Harvey. Coughlin's in there. And for the third time, in some 30 seconds, the umpire will bounce the ball on the wing position. Michael Long heading towards the interchange bench. Just here where he went down, where he flicked it back to O'Connor for the goal. The injury is now coming off. And Andrew Bomford is the player to come back on. While that's happening on this broadcast side, on the southern side, the ball's out of bounds on the full. And yet another kick to Matthew Young. Very crowded Saints forward line. Low in front. Harvey, very quick give. It's Jones. He in turn back into Winmar. Winmar takes it on the bounce, hooks around the body. Opportunity there for Nicky.
You're certainly right in that one home, Wills.
He would know it was the drop of the ball that did him. He dropped it very awkwardly onto the boot. Here's Denham taking the short one in. But as they say on the classics, handy point. 7 points the margin, still plenty of time. Doolan misses the mark, recovers. An old head around the outer side, Harvey. Not a good kick though. O'Connor didn't know where the ball was. Berbatov hits it hard and knocks it across the line. Good defence too from Shanahan initially. Berbatov kicked the first goal of the afternoon. Plenty of strength there. Shanahan 31. O'Connor 3. Hurd floating in. It's out of bounds again. Coughlan fisting away. James Hurd, 4 goals on the afternoon. 2 in the third term. Essendon stole a break, but the Saints worked back into it. They've been terrific. They wrestle off hands. Healy, who's been very handy, well, on this occasion, pops it across the boundary line on the full.
Bit of concern over Michael Long's right knee, Dennis. Like Dr. Bruce Reid was just probing and pushing, and so I'm not too sure whether it's a knee, but they were looking at that area, so a bit of concern with him when he comes back on.
Warcroft around the outer side. Fletcher almost screened by O'Connor in that pack. Little chip. Hurd's the target. Hard to beat there, but Young coming up behind, judged it best. Young runs away. The Saints lead by 7 points. Here's Harvey deep in his own defensive area. Just under 12 minutes to play. Peckett with the run of it. Fumbled it. Doolan picks it up. No time to be pretty. Throws it on the boot. Olorenshaw. No, it's Lloyd. Claimed from behind. Sierakowski did well, as did Harvey. This is Jones. The chip pass. Peckett. Chance to make amends. Peckett on the wing.
They look to have the run at the moment, the Saints.
Winmar short. That's ignored. There's Healy. Peckett. Across the ground. Hudson. Kicks towards centre, half-forward contest inside the 50. Stewie Low, metres in the clear, 25 out, gets the goal.
Not a bad kick coming in from Max Hutchton. And good work there. The two light towers working quite well on that occasion, with Stewie Lowe coming up behind big Peter Everitt doing the roving.
St Kilda with the last of 3 goals of the game. 4 in this last quarter to Essendon just the 1. Hurd in the centre bounce area, takes it from O'Connor's tap out. Sierakowski, the defender for St Kilda, the spoil. Lucas to Masidi. Out wide. Bomford couldn't complete the mark. Play on the call. Zilla forces it away and forces it over the line and out of bounds. Really cinch an edge about the St Kilda side now. There's a sniff of victory there. 13 points is their lead. Just on at 15 minutes into the last quarter.
Well, in general terms, Wheels, if the Saints are going to be anything this season, they've got to win this game. 13 points up now with probably halfway through the final term. They've got the momentum, they've got the edge. They must be confident within themselves, surely. They should be writing this one down as a victory.
So the ball on the half-back line for St Kilda. Jamie Shanahan doing the ruck work against Ryan O'Connor, the 2 Tasmanian boys. The backhand from Shanahan only buys his side 5 metres, and they wrap it up again. Austin Jones using the ball so very well. Stan Alves. Have that feeling in the pit of their stomach you get when you're coaching league football. Oh. Doolan spins out wide. Peckett aggressive at the ball. Takes it back for the Saints towards the wing, low in the front position. Pushed, play on Zakul. Harvey feeds back on into Simons. He goes short, finds Doolan. There's options in the forward line. He decides to go long. Lloyd sitting from behind, flies with O'Connor. O'Connor takes the mark. Well, the pair of them were committed to fly. The old rule of 1 up and 1 down went right out the window, and Ryan O'Connor is a successful applicant for the ball.
This was a big fly, wasn't it, from the big man? And, I'm sure if Jamie Shanahan was his direct opponent, but he didn't quite judge it as well as Ryan.
So O'Connor going for his second, picked up his first when Michael Long flicked it back into play earlier. Second for the quarter to Ryan O'Connor. He's got it. So 7 points now for St Kilda's lead.
The gloves are well and truly off now. This is an old-fashioned scrap. And the rule book has gone out the window, as you said, because the rule book has been written, it seems, rewritten over the last couple of years. I think it is going to come down to these centre bounces after goals. Brown up against James Hurd now. O'Connor up against Everitt.
It's all on the table now. In fact, the table might be on the table. Away they go. O'Connor slaps it down. Chance for Hurd. Pryor hurriedly onto the boot. Floats at about 25 metres. And then he got the last goal. O'Connor back into the forward line. Defiantly in front. Zilla on his knees. The Saints defend. Winmar cruising past. Short one. Coughlin, the villain this afternoon. Peckett, the defensive side of the centre circle. Margin 7 points. Stewie wants it high. Peckett straining for distance. Down towards Hall. Knocked away by Wellman. Smith the crumbs. Quick hand pass away. This is Healy with some time. 40 metres out. Oh, great finish. His second.
Impressive finish there from Daniel. Just knew that he had to take responsibility for the goal. He got an opportunity when the ball came loose. Andrew Bomford coming off the ground because of that missed mark. The fact was his opponent was in front of him, Stephen Zilla. And as much as you can credit Daniel Healy, you can also give credit to Stephen Zilla, the other end of the ground. Well,
a great answer by St Kilda to O'Connor's goal. Daniel Healy gets the next one for the Saints. Hurd again. Out of the centre, bounce on the left foot. A good flick on. Chance here for Essendon, but Young. Very good across the back. One bounce into Tony Brown. He skips away on his left foot. Everitt's a target. No, he goes for the hand. Not a good option at all there from Brown. Danaher to Doolan. There's a man on for Essendon. Ola Renshaw takes the mark. Wastes no time. On to Wellman. Good run from behind the ball. Straight in line, there's Lloyd. Matthew Lloyd, half-forward flank.
There's 3 unfit players on the Essendon benches. Lloyd lines up for a goal. But I think Kevin Shee's got a few problems because he's got Bomford who's struggling with injury, but also he's a little distressed. He may have felt he'd let the side down before. Also Michael Long with a doubtful knee, and also Mercury with a torn thigh.
So 2 goals is the lead to St Kilda. Essendon seemingly undermanned on the bench. Real pressure time. Young comes in short, gives it to Coughlin.
Coughlin deep in his own defensive area. Off a step. Winmar getting back now. Squares it. Hutchton close to the line. Rather lazy. It bounces out of bounds. Intended for Healy. 12 points the margin. There's the time remaining. It's down Essendon's end. Across half forward, Coughlin is up. Thumps it and gains about 15. Clock stops. Harrowing afternoon against the brilliance of Hurd. And the former Melbourne and North Melbourne champion riding every bump now. Everitt, Coughlin again with the run. O'Connor directs it down in front. Zilla with dash, brilliantly done. Moorcroft got there, and that was enough. Hurd ties up Zilla, necessitating a bounce.
Saints doing pretty well, just closing the ball and the game down in this vital period of time. Just over 6 minutes of play remaining. They will have to score more goals, I think, to win. But slowing the tempo down is a vital part.
They'll be hanging on there. Another bounce.
Essendon now have to try and work it away from this pack and open the ball up, open the game up.
Brave performance by the Saints. Dismal second term, but haven't they responded? The Runks go at it again. 2 immovable objects in there. Healy, brilliantly done. Feeds Smith, pulls it back. Everitt's the target, getting in front Fletcher. They needed that one, the Bombers. Fletcher chips it out wide. Presenting Lucas with a run. He's not nimble enough. Jones steals it 40 metres out. This will bring the house down. He's kicked the goal. And that should be good enough.
Yeah, that no doubt will be the sealer, unless we see an extraordinary finish by the Bombers. But perhaps just the poor option there by Dustin Fletcher. He had a couple of other support players he may well have been able to lay it off to by hand. He went wide. The kick was just a little bit too long, and Aussie Jones, he was onto it.
Austin Jones, the second goal, gives St Kilda the lead by 2 goals. Pushing away, Lucas quickly out. Peckett the defender. Young gets back, as he's done all afternoon, controlled across half-back. Quality use of the ball to Zilla. The in-turn on his left foot. Brown allows the contact to occur, and the ball floats over the back to Peckett. The in-turn to Healy. The left footer from Central Districts goes long to the square. Lappin will do the body work on Moorcroft. The 2 youngsters. Lappin!
Got some tricks, young Matthew Lappin. He's put them all on display here this afternoon.
19 points, the Saints. Harvey. Simons to Doolan. Essendon working it around the near side to half forward. Ola Renshaw spoiled there by Peckett. Free kick. Back to Olorenshaw against Peckett. Wastes no time on the left foot. Inside 50, the spoil from Sierakowski falls to Lloyd. He settles straight into the post.
Had more time than he knew.
Essendon moved to 100 points as St Kilda on 118.
4:20 remaining. Shanahan working a 1-2 with Young. Coughlin. He's across half-back. No one standing the mark. Coughlin not going to take a gallop. O'Connor comes from behind to stand on the mark. Coughlin to Jones. He's not shy in taking a run. Kicks it out wide. Lappin is there. Moorcroft leads back in the race. They've got the numbers, 2 on 1, but Lappin wins the footy. Oh, brilliantly played. Ties it up, and that will do. Been a very good player this afternoon, Lappin. Kicked a couple. And that right there, very important. Clock continues to run now, and you feel the Saints are home.
We've got Danny Morgan on the boundary. Bomford went back on. He's limped back on, but Danny Morgan's got a suspect hamstring, so the Dons are looking sad and sorry.
Healy deep in the pocket. Hand passes back towards Lowe. Taken high. No free kick. It comes away. Kicks it out wide. Mercedes stretches, controls it well. Confronted there by Young. Young cruising past, was Olorenshaw or was it Lloyd? Missed him in any case. Sierakowski grabs it. Boots back towards the half-forward line for his side. Hall missed the mark. Under there is Healy.
Speaking of Daniel Healy, 9 possessions, 5 kicks, 4 handballs and 2 goals in the final term. He has been a revelation for the Saints and one of the key players that have got them this hard-fought victory.
Amazing game. They charged out of the blocks, did St Kilda. Essendon a 7-goal second term to lead at half-time. Three-quarter time, the Saints had edged back. And now, in the battle of wills, they have prevailed. Official attendance today, 51,928. Throw in, Lowe and Wellman. Lowe gained about 10 metres. Simons lost the ball. Brown, Winmar took on the oncoming traffic. Wishes he hadn't. Lappin dragged down on his knees, feeds it back over the shoulder. Denham is there, out juggled by Burke, who is met solidly by Harvey. And what's the call? I think it'll be a free kick to St Kilda. Harvey and Winmar.
And what's been so meritorious and significant about this victory for the Saints is it hasn't come through the good play of the likes of Nathan Burke, with just 4 touches in this last quarter. Rob Harvey's only had 1 kick and 3 handballs also, so whilst they've done their bit, they haven't been the stars, and it's been the likes of Healy and Brown and Aussie Jones that have been real stars in this final term.
There's my man, Peter Everitt. Seals the victory. What a gutsy performance. Shades of their win over Collingwood. And they can afford to smile.
And I think you can throw Matthew Young into that breach too for the Saints, because he's had just a great game all afternoon. He's been one of their few four-quarter performers. And when you get so many people contributing over a period of time, you generally add up with 4 points.
So St Kilda march on in the last quarter. They did it last week against the Port Adelaide to run out winners by 65. They won't win by that margin here, but it's certainly a meritorious victory here on the MCG against the Bombers. Pryor now into half-forward. Shanahan leads the defence for St Kilda on this occasion. Just fumbles and tumbles the ball towards the boundary line, and eventually over it goes. Jamie Shanahan, real leader of the St Kilda defence.
Mark Harvey's just calling for the physio too, not looking good, limping around in the centre of the ground, so the Bombers are all falling over.
Harvey, one of 7 players to come into the side this afternoon, looking injured. Michael Long was another. He's already sitting on the interchange bench.
In fact, he may have a broken leg. That's what they're testing for as Michael Pryor comes off the blood rule. But Mark Harvey's had a history of broken legs, and it was pretty evident there that the club physio was testing his fibula, I should say. And, well, who knows what the future holds for Mark Harvey.
So Harvey now just limping on down into his side's forward line. The throw in at half forward for Essendon. St Kilda away through Tony Brown. The left foot towards Lowe. Well judged.
Oh.
Very well judged. Fletcher hasn't been disgraced this afternoon at all. He's been a very fine defender. Stewie Lowe takes the honours on this occasion. He's kicked 2 goals in the second half. Lowe in towards Everitt. Reaches high. Healy does the roving and just goes over again.
On the full, I think.
Makes his stats look even more impressive.
I would imagine that Kevin Sheedy will have some more to say about an increased interchange bench after this afternoon. There's Mercedes back towards the wing. Oh, great grab. Dustin Fletcher, but too little too late. Margin 24 points, 30 seconds to play. Of course, the Bombers off to Perth next week. Play the West Coast Eagles. Sierakowski out wide, close to the boundary line. Peckett keeps it in. Aussie Jones is away, arches the back, sprints, has a bounce. Look at him go. Interesting kick. He was out of control. It comes down to his left half forward. Fletcher to Doolan. Wait for the siren. Morgan towards the wing. This will be a great victory by St Kilda. Coach Stan Alves savouring this one. A real defiant look on his face as he came charging out of the coach's box. He's been under pressure. What better way to answer? Russell.
Yeah, well, Matthew, congratulations, mate. A best on ground performance. How do you feel?
Oh, fantastic. Come in with a mission today, and I think we fixed what we were going to do.
Well, you won 2 weeks in a row, and you've been accused of being a little inconsistent over the years. How did you fix it today?
Yeah, I think that we're always, as you said, we've been pointed at that. So that was one of the motivational factors of today, to win 3 in a row. We've done that, so hopefully we'll move on to next week.
Mate, the contrast between the first quarter and the second quarter warranted a major spray by Stan at half-time. What did he actually say?
Yeah, he got into a few blokes, including myself, and we just had to turn around, cop it on the chin, and go out there in the second half. And as you can see, we got away with the win.
Well, it's a wonderful effort to come back, you know, from being 20 points up and then being overrun by Essendon. How do you feel about that?
Oh, fantastic. You know, the boys really worked hard all day, never threw the towel in, which is, you know, credit to them. We've just persevered all day and come away.
Well, Dan, it's probably one of the most improved players in the league at the moment, Matthew Young.
No doubt about that. He was terrific this afternoon. 25 and 5. The other side of the coin, rather forlorn. Michael Long off with Kevin Sheedy. Saints coming across towards their race, and also, of course, towards a legion of supporters. Some young faces in there really enjoying this moment. They had to dig deep for this one today. Again, they had